It's that time once again. I'm about to head out to the beautiful San Fernando Valley. The only thing is, and I'm sure most of you already know this, LA is right in the middle of, or hopefully at the end of, some of the craziest wildfires that we have ever seen here. I personally feel like these are the craziest wildfires that I've ever seen in my 45 years. And I did read that these are the most destructive wildfires in LA history. I have not been out of the house very much in the last couple of days, aside from taking my son to school or running down to the store. But I haven't ventured out very much because I've been at home editing. So I really don't know what I'm going to find. Still see a lot of smoke in the sky, but I just don't know if I'm going to run into roads that are closed or, you know, what I'm really going to find. But we're going to head out right now and give it a try. So let's go see what we can find. So I'm not sure how well the camera's picking this up or if you can all see that in front. Oh, whoa, what's going on here on the other side of the freeway? A lot of police activity. So as you can see right here in front of me, the sky is pretty blue. But then if we look over here to the left, you can see that giant cloud of smoke. That's in the direction of the Palisades fire. The air quality here has gotten a lot better in the last 24 hours. It's still not great, but it's definitely better. But as you can see in that area, still not too good. So this is kind of interesting and bizarre. I just came up here to the Universal City Overlook to get a shot of the valley, and I found that there's now a gate going around the entire thing. And it's really weird because I was just up here with my family, I don't know, probably about a month and a half ago, and there was no gate here. There was tour buses stopping here, letting people off to look at the valley, and you can't do that anymore. There is a gate, but it's locked, and there's no signs, you know, telling you when it's open or any. Well, there's still signs saying that it's closed from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m., but other than that, it should be open. Now, there's a good chance that the reason why it's not open right now is because of the fires and because of the recent winds. I mean, that makes total sense, but I just think it's really strange that there's now a gate here, especially because, like I said, I feel like I was just here and there was no gate. Anyways, we're about to head down there to the valley. Things are looking like they're okay. I know this section of the valley didn't really see a lot of damage from the fires. There was a fire in the Pasadena area and Calabasas and the Hollywood Hills. Right down there is Universal Studios, which reopened today. It was closed for the last couple of days along with Magic Mountain, but they're both now reopened. So like I said, slowly but surely, things are getting better. Well, I might have spoke too soon. Coming up Laurel Canyon right now, headed towards Valley Plaza, and there is thick black smoke in the sky. There's police over there blocking the street, and this is actually the area that I was headed to. Well, I hear more sirens, not sure if that's more police cars or if that's fire trucks. You can see a bunch of police cars passing by in the reflection, so not sure what's going on. I'm not sure if this is fire related or if there's like a shootout going on near me. I kind of wish I didn't go this way. Traffic is not moving. The police are now stopping traffic again. Oh, I was just about to make a right and they stopped it. Something big's going on. More police cars. I'm not seeing any fire trucks. All police. What the hell am I in the middle of? So I ended up pulling over and getting out of my car a couple of blocks away. You can see it right there behind me. You can see it's all blocked off here. This is behind the building, about a block or so it looks like. You can see there's a fire truck right there in the center of the street that's got a ladder going up to the building. And I can see some people going up and down the ladder. Not sure if that's just firemen or if they're evacuating people. And there's a hose going right down the middle of the street that's hooked up to a fire hydrant right here on the corner. There's obviously a lot of smoke and you can smell the fire. Funny enough, the first location that I had planned to go to today to talk about is actually right over there, right where the fire is. Hopefully the building that's on fire isn't the one that I had planned to talk about in this video, but it is right there in that area. And as you can see, I obviously can't get over there. So I guess I'm gonna have to save that one for another video. You know what's kind of crazy that I just realized? If I would have come straight to this location first, instead of going up there to the Universal Overlook on Mulholland, I would have been standing right in the middle of this when it started. Stay safe out there, everybody. Things are wild right now. All right, so I'm here right now on Van Nuys Boulevard in Sherman Oaks, and I wanted to take a couple of minutes to talk about this building. Well, not really much of a building anymore, but wanted to talk about this location across the street right here behind me. This was Corky's restaurant, and it originally opened in 1958 as Stanley Burke's Coffee Shop, but then by the early 60s, it became Corky's. So just a couple of years later, it became Corky's. And at that point, it transitioned into being open 24 hours, 7 days a week. They opened up the Cork Lounge, and they had live entertainment in there. And Corky's got really popular in the 1970s. Like I said, they had the lounge with live entertainment, and at some point, I'm not really sure when, but at some point in the 1970s, Billy Joel was the piano player here. I don't know how long he played piano at Corky's, but I do know that at some point in the 1970s, the piano man himself was the piano player in the Cork Lounge. Also, most of you know about cruising on Van Nuys Boulevard, very famous. There's a movie about it. People still cruise Van Nuys Boulevard, but the 70s was the heyday for cruising Van Nuys, and Corky's was one of the main spots. It was one of the main hangouts when people would cruise Van Nuys Boulevard. And I'm not positive about this, but I think this might be the last, or was the last remaining business from the heyday of cruising Van Nuys Boulevard. I know the Ralph's right down there, that was a Hughes Market at the time, so it was still a grocery store, but a different grocery store. The Firestone is gone, the Pharaoh's is gone. I mean, pretty much everything is gone. So I think Corky's was the last remaining business from that time. Now, I'm not exactly sure what happened, but sometime in the 80s, it got bought out and it became the Lamplighter, and it remained the Lamplighter for quite a while, and then eventually switched back over to Corky's, and it remained Corky's right up until the day they closed just recently. And from what I've read, it actually closed because of a dispute over the lease. They weren't able to settle the lease dispute, and it's now becoming a Chick-fil-A. And it looks like the only thing they're keeping from the original building is the roof. And I don't even really understand why they're keeping that. It looks like they gutted everything else. They even cut they cut most of the support beams off of the roof, and that's part of what gave it that look that it had. So even if they do keep that original roof, once it's all said and done, the building is not going to look anything like it did. Hopefully someone will save that sign. Maybe Valley Relics Museum will save it, but it's a really big sign, so I'm not sure. And I know that Corky's isn't exactly 80s related, but it is a big part of San Fernando Valley history. So I wanted to come over here and document what's left before it's gone forever. All right, so honestly, I don't know if I've told this story or not, but as I sit here at Lindley and Oxnard, I'm reminded of it. I don't know how I remember these things, how I remember the little details of stuff like this, but I don't remember stuff about last night. It blows my mind. But this would have been sometime in the late 80s, like around 88, 89. My parents and I were coming back from the Toys R Us on Topanga Canyon, and we had just purchased the Monopoly NES game. How do I remember that that happened on that particular night? I have no idea, but we were coming back from Toys R Us. We then stopped at the In-N-Out on Ventura Boulevard, and we were headed home, and we were passing by these apartment buildings right here when we noticed a boy on the sidewalk, unconscious. We thought that he was possibly dead. My dad pulled over and my mom got out. I, of course, followed her. And other people must have seen it because like a minute later, fire trucks pulled up and they got out and they were trying to wake up the boy. And when they finally got him awake, he started freaking out, you know, get off me, trying to get away from them. And the boy was, if I had to guess, he was probably about 12 or 13 years old. And I remember the firefighters kept asking him, "What are you on? What are you on, son?" When we left, I asked my parents, why did the firemen keep asking him what he was on? Like, how does he know he, you know, wasn't having a medical condition? So let me show you. It's actually right there. And so anyways, I was really bothered by the fact that they assumed he was on drugs. Of course, now that I'm a little bit older, I understand that these firefighters, they see this stuff every day. And probably once, you know, once the boy opened his eyes, they saw something that, you know, they had an idea that he had taken something. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe they were just guessing. But I have a feeling, you know, they saw some clues. But yeah, it really blows my mind that I remember these little details about stuff like that almost 40 years later, but I don't know what I had for dinner last night. Thanks, brain. Now I know I've talked about this in another Valley video. This building right here behind me, in the 80s, this was Can-Am Studios. And sometime in the 90s, this was taken over by Death Row Records. And not a lot of people realize that Death Row has roots in the San Fernando Valley. I mean, it was right here at this building where Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Tupac, they were all hanging out here. But Death Row is not the only rap record label that has roots in the San Fernando Valley. So right now we're in Warner Center, and I gotta talk kind of quiet because it's all office buildings in here and it's really quiet and peaceful. But we're in Warner Center, which is actually in Woodland Hills. And right over here, I'm gonna show it to you in just a second. Not a lot of people know this, but this used to be the office of Eazy-E and Ruthless Records. I mean, who knew that Eazy-E had his office here in the San Fernando Valley in a really nice part of the San Fernando Valley. And you can go online, you can Google and find Eazy-E's business card and you'll see the address on it. Takes you right here to this building. I first found out about this because a good friend of mine has an original copy of the Straight Outta Compton vinyl, and on the back of it, it's a promotional copy, so it's got the promotional stamp and it has the address and phone number for Ruthless Records, and it's this building right here in front of me. 21860 Suite 100. All right, let's see if we can find it. Oh, there's a sign right there. Suite 100 is this way. Oh, there it is, Suite 100. That's what it is now. But back in the day, this was Ruthless Records. Right next to the bathroom. How convenient. That was Eazy-E's office right there. It's just crazy for me when I think about this because I was and always will be a huge NWA and Eazy-E fan. And at the time when they were here in this office building, there's a Ralph's grocery store just a couple of miles from here, and at that time I was going to that Ralph's with my parents every weekend, and I had no idea that just a couple miles away Eazy-E had his office. Now obviously there's nothing to see inside. Ruthless Records has been gone for a really long time, but there is still something here that we can match up because NWA actually took a photo right here in front of the Ruthless Records office, and it's actually right here across from the front entrance. They took a picture in front of this fountain. Now this right here was pretty much the shot. I think it was a little more zoomed in, but for the most part, this is it. Right here, this is where Eazy-E was. and then I think it was Yellow was right in front of him, and then Ren, and then Dr. Dre was sitting right down here. Amazing. But NWA actually had roots here in the San Fernando Valley long before that, because just a couple miles away from where the Ruthless Records office was, you'll find Taft High School, which you can see right here behind me. And this is where O'Shea Jackson, also known as Ice Cube, went to school. He lived in South Central, but every day he would ride the bus from South Central LA to the San Fernando Valley, where he attended Taft High School. And in the movie Straight Outta Compton, which is about NWA, towards the beginning of the movie, there's a scene with Ice Cube getting on the bus at school, and then on his way home the bus gets stopped and some gang members get on the bus. But where that scene starts at his school, that was actually filmed at a school in West LA. I was there when they filmed that scene. I watched them film it probably 50 times, and you can actually just barely see my car in the parking lot of the school. But that was supposed to be Taft High School, but this is the real Taft High School. Also seen in the Brady Bunch movie, this was Greg and Marsha's high school, but in real life, this is where Ice Cube went to school. And that's actually going to do it for this video. I did have a couple of other spots that I wanted to show you, a few other things that I wanted to talk about, but like you saw with the first location, there was a fire and I wasn't able to get to it. And then one of the other spots, the road was closed. And so I just decided that I'm going to save that stuff for the next video and keep this one nice and short. And so until next time, everybody please stay safe. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.